Decentralization Media.
Hi guys, welcome back to our tutorial series on Stella, and today we'll be looking into joint accounts similar to what the bank systems have, and this will basically allow you to use multi signatures in a single account and sign on behalf of them. So I'll be doing this in two particular ways for you. So to begin, let's create few accounts. To begin, let's have a look at our accounts and go to transaction builder. Let's take it that the initial first account is the main account itself, and you can use the signer within that account to sign for transactions. Let's say we want to add this second account signer to it as well. So here we'll be using an operation known as set options. So the first account holder is going to set an option. Set options. Now set options has so many other options that you can set as well, including inflations, flags, and the weight level or threshold of the signature or the account itself. Now we are going to be adding a particular signature, so let's choose the signer type as public key. So we're going to mention the public key here of the secondary signer, and we are going to provide the signer with a weight. Let's say the weight is 1. Now after we create this transaction, we'll have a look at the account and we'll notice the weight levels of each signer. Okay, I think it's better right before we do this transaction just to head over to Endpoint Explorer and single accounts and leave the current status of this account. Now within the account details, you can see signers is mentioned as the account's public key itself, and there's the weight level of 1. Now let's go ahead and submit this transaction. Alright, so once we submit the transaction, we'll notice that it's taking quite a while. Alright, fine. So once the transaction is submitted, we'll notice that within the account request we have 2 signers. Even the new public key has been added. Alright, so now to test this out, we'll have to create a simple transaction using the new signer. Back to transaction builder, we'll be using the same account public key, and so this is basically the public key of the first account. And let's say we create a transaction that's to manage data, and let's add a value. So it's the name of this tutorial, and we are going to be doing joint accounts. And instead of the first account signer, we'll be using the second one. So this transaction should be successful. Yes, so in case of a joint account with two signers, let's say it's a family account and either one of them wants to make a transaction, that's possible. Now let's say this is a particular account where you have the requirement of having two signers to basically approve the transaction. Let's say it is a safety deposit box and you have two particular keys that will help you open it. So in such a case, the same account can be utilized. However, we'll be changing the low threshold of this particular account. In doing so, we create the requirement where we need both the signers. So let's say if the threshold is 2, we'll need both the weightage of both the signers to approve a transaction. Alright, so let's go ahead and create a transaction, and we're going to be using set options. Right, so within set options we're going to set the low threshold as 2 and sign it using the previous sign that we used. This transaction should be successful. Yes, and let's have a look at the account once more. The low threshold has been set. Now what the threshold really implies is this creates the lowest requirement of signing weightage for any task. So that's all. Yeah, so the thresholds will differ for each operation. I think we are able to set it as well. Okay, so let's try this out. Let's try creating a new transaction and just signing with the one single signer. Joint account. My bad. So let's say we have a single signature, and let's try this transaction out. Yes, it fails. It mentions it as bad auth. So let's just head over to the previous page and add both the signers. This should be successful. And yes, so this transaction succeeds. So now that this has happened, you can see this works as a safety deposit box as well. Safety deposit account kind of thing, where you need multi-signatures to perform a transaction. So that's it for tutorial, guys, and we'll have a look at how we can get this done using the Stella SDK in Golang. Thank you. So welcome back to tutorial, guys. Let's have a look at how we can get this done using the Go SDK. And so as you can see, we have a small script set up for you here. And to begin, let's have the two key pairs, the first and second account. And so I have a new set of key pairs here that I'm going to be replacing these key pairs with. Okay, so when you guys have a look at this script, it's better you guys use a new set of key pairs. And so there's a 4-step process, and the initial step is where you set the signer and you add another signature. So it's the add signer method, and let's have a look at how it goes. So you take the initial account, get the account sequence number and build the transaction. The operation is called set options, and you set the second public key and set the weightage as 1, just as we did on the laboratory. Then you set the operation to the transaction and set it to testnet if you're using test, or as public net when you're using public net. And we have time bound set to infinity, so there's no time bound setup. Then we build and sign the XDR and make it into a base 64. Now remember guys, it's it's not a multi-signature transaction, my bad. And then we submit to Stella. So that's the initial step of setting an option. And secondly, we'll be looking at using the second account and trying on transaction. So just as we tested it out, you can just see a test transaction for manage data operation, name, joint account, and we are using the second account key pair and submitting the transaction. Yes, right. Thirdly, the third step is basically setting options and setting the low threshold to 2. Let me just change this to low. And okay, so when we have a look at the set threshold operation, we retrieve the account details of any of the account that's actually doing this transaction and construct the transaction that will carry the operation. Okay, so here we basically only set the threshold being set to 2, and so this is setting the low threshold to 2, and we submit the transaction. So at this point, a single signer is able to sign either one of them. Then step 4 will basically have the multi-signature transaction. Here we aren't just using a single account and testing it once more, but doing all of it at the same time. So now that we use laboratory to test it out, I don't think that's necessary here. It will just be the same step 2 that you're going to repeat. So within the multi-signature transaction, we have both the accounts, and to the first account you create a transaction because that's the main account address. So we're going to be doing a simple manage data operation, and we have the source account as the first account. Then we'll build the transaction and build it to base 64, and we give it over to the second signer. So this, once received by the second signer, can be opened up into transaction and signed again, then converted to base 64. Upon doing this, you can submit it to Stella. So that should be successful. So let's run this script and have a look at it, shall we? Okay, gotta go to join. That's taking an unusually long time. Okay, step 1. So I think I was just testing it out using the base 64 XDR. And so the first transition was success. So the second one and third one as well. Finally the fourth one. Yes. So as you can see, the script ran successfully. And so hope you guys have a look at it, give it a try, and please let us know if there's any issues in the comment section. And please do subscribe, give us a like, and hit the bell icon for notifications. Thank you guys.
Decentralization Media.